Triangle of Sadness. Everyone compares Triangle of Sadness to Parasite from 2019. Sometimes people even call this film Parasite Part 2. But in fact, there is a much closer analogy from 2022, a direct competitor for the Best Picture awards at Oscars. Tar by Todd Field. Both films discuss power, but their approach is very different. Triangle of Sadness presents itself as a black comedy. Tar is a self-important psychological drama. Triangle of Sadness is occasionally very funny, but gradually reveals itself as a nihilistic neo-Marxist monstrosity. Tar is not very funny, but it is much more nuanced work that asks questions but chooses not to provide you with idiotic answers about how life is a zero-sum game and we're all doomed. The plot of Triangle of Sadness goes like this. Two models/influencers, Carl and Yaya, are invited to a luxury cruise. All the guests on the ship are obviously very rich people, and all of them are quite disgusting in their own way, just like Carl and Yaya. The captain of the yacht is a hardcore socialist and an alcoholic, played by Woody Harrelson. Naturally, he symbolizes things, and, in a way, is a caricature of other hardcore socialists doing the bidding of filthy, rich, and quite capitalistic enemies of the working class, important minority groups, etc., etc. Eventually, the ship is hit by a storm, and everything devolves into madness when everyone is puking while New Noise by Sweden's Refused is playing in the background. And then the ship gets under attack, sinks, and a handful of survivors end up on the remote island that looks uninhabited at first. Now the tables are turned, rich people are useless, and the Filipino janitor Abigail takes control, declares herself a captain, and starts to behave just like a capitalist pig. Obviously, all of this is about power dynamics in society and in economic structures, and in relationships a little bit, because it is a social and economic structure. Everything is an economic structure if all of the human interactions are transactions, which is apparently the opinion of Ruben Östlund, the director of Triangle of Sadness. The film has lots of valid observations, and Östlund is clearly very talented in presenting it to the audience in an entertaining way. The main problem here is that we're dealing with the observations of a Swedish socialist, a beast that holds a book of Karl Marx in one hand and a book of Swedenborg's Masonic gibberish in another. It is nice that Triangle of Sadness balances a traditional trope of how people are oppressed and dehumanized in a capitalist hierarchy by showing you in the last part of the film that if the tables are turned, the oppressed are more than ready to do the same. A slave dreams not of freedom, but of his own slaves. Triangle of Sadness unveils a very grim neo-Marxist worldview. I give you something, you give me something. Or, one more quote from the movie, I love you, you give me fish. A worldview of a prostitute. Everything is a transaction, everything is a construct, and eventually, if you have more, then I have less. Which is the crucial problem of the radical leftist ideologies. They are firmly fixated on the problem of power and advocate for moral relativism. There is no concept of virtue in this framework, only virtue signaling, only a tool of showing that you are somehow better than the next guy without even lifting your finger. Only narcissism, when you are the measure of all things in the universe of total incognizable mess where nothing makes sense and words don't have meanings. And, as we all know, the followers of neo-Marxism really like to pitch themselves as some kind of moral authorities fighting for the greater good, when in fact it is all just sleight of mouth, which helps to get the upper hand. There is no morality here, because if I steal from you, it is good, if you steal from me, it is bad, is not morality. Diogenes of Sinope had an interesting observation that men are competing in kicking each other instead of competing in virtue. Ruben Östlund has a similar observation in Triangle of Sadness, But his observation stops at men are competing in kicking each other, and omits the second part, because it is a socialist movie and a truly horrendous and bleak outlook that has no place for the concept of virtue and its possible meanings. There is no hope, there is only I love you, you give me fish. So, what have we learned from Triangle of Sadness? Homo homini lupus est. Socialist ideologues are in fact employed by filthy rich people. Who should pay the bill is an existential problem in the Anglo-Saxon cultures. We were dead before the ship even sank. Refused are sellouts. In the end, some people perceive Triangle of Sadness as a satire of rich people. If it was the intention of the director, then he failed, and instead taught us a couple of things about the disastrous Neo-Marxist worldview.